The Never-Ending Tales, Chapter 4, Genesis of the Gods. Way before the first Adam appeared and the angels established their kingdom, when only void and silence prevailed, a goddess was born. She was the sentience of light to come, wrapped in a cocoon of nothingness, where nothing ever happened. The goddess was in an eternal suspension where she dreamed of the world to come, dreams of space and time, galaxies and planets, and people and societies. She foresaw the multiverse and its multiple layers. She gazed at the branches of what started as shallow light to become so many worlds all at once. The goddess saw everything that would happen when the old elements would finally break and the new ones would prevail. She felt this extraordinary ocean of shapes and colors, and this infinite potential that was trapped as she was. An idea started to form in her spirits. She was to free herself and become the light that would shape the world she dreamed about. But breaking the cocoon wasn't an easy task to achieve. She missed a very important piece of information. She wasn't the only deity to fill the void. Another god had been creeping in the void way before the goddess. This god made of void accepted the peace that the absence of everything can provide. He had the same dreams that the goddess had when he was born and still lived in his cocoon. But unlike the goddess, he freed himself by accepting that the void is a better alternative than that multiverse that was to exist. He had seen too much and perceived that even if it was truly magnificent, the birth of the multiverse would also be the cause of huge despair and pain for so many souls. So he decided that instead of becoming the light, he would become the void itself and bear the task of never allowing the multiverse to be. When the cocoon of the goddess appeared, he felt her hope and her strong resignation in breaking the void, so he imprisoned her in her egg. The god of void first ignored the pain of the goddess and was deaf to her cries. However, he still felt what she felt through the parts of him that were forming her cocoon. He eventually got charmed by the goddess and felt that his own perception shouldn't stop him from interacting with the only other sentient being. He wanted to willingly receive thoughts from the goddess, thoughts that would be full of hope like the ones she used to have when she dreamed of the world to be. He felt a deep nostalgia for such thoughts, as he used to have the same when he was in his own cocoon. He finally decided to free the goddess from her cocoon. As he did, the egg of the goddess shattered into millions of lights, becoming the first stars. She was standing in the middle, a perfect feminine body shining like as many stars as her real birth created. The light was so strong that the god of void couldn't sustain looking at it. But something unexpected happened. The goddess shining through the void made the god visible, even if it was only a male shape filled by darkness. The goddess walked toward him and took both his hands. The god could finally open his eyes and gazed at her eyes, where he saw the hope he lost. He felt her gentle and warm thoughts and felt his pain and his despair healed. The god then moved toward her and put his lips on hers. The energy of the kiss was so strong that it made the newly born stars shine even stronger. As the light was filling the void, another shape appeared, another god that neither the goddess of light nor the god of void ever suspected the existence of. This particular god seemed not to move. He wasn't letting any thoughts out. He was standing near another cocoon of void that was the egg of yet some other god or goddess. The goddess of light took the god of void's right hand, and they both moved toward the motionless god. Once next to him, they were able to notice that he had blind eyes, and only a very low flame was keeping him in a tangible state. The two gods took both his hands, and as they were forming a circle, the empty god started to get back his spirit. They were finally able to hear his thoughts. He was the god of silence, and had gazed into time in every direction, seeing only disaster after disaster. His visions made him blind, but the contact with the two gods made him see again. The god of void wondered how he couldn't perceive the god of silence and the other cocoon. The god of silence explained that they were surrounded by silence, that even void can't reach, and that cocoon was in fact made of silence. The goddess of light felt pain for the poor deity inside and persuaded the two other gods to free it. The three gods touched the egg that cracked. A sweet melody rose from it and its fragments joined the stars, making them sing. A goddess stood before them still singing the melody. She explained that with her singing, the music of time would continue pushing the universe into motion, and making time pass. They called her the goddess of music and time. The four gods put the universe in motion. As void and silence were shrinking, light and time started expanding. After a moment, both the old and new elements were equally proportioned in the universe. But this coexistence created a new element and with it a new god, the god of chaos. The god of chaos wasn't cheerful like the goddess of light. He wasn't calm like the god of void or silent like the god of silence. He wasn't either singing like the goddess of music and time. Instead, this new god was wrathful, angry, and overall mad. He decided that he hated the other gods as soon as he met them and started a quarrel with them, making their respective elements clash against each other. Seeing that this god couldn't be convinced by reason, the four other gods created a new element to counter it, and as it was created it gave birth to yet another goddess, the goddess of order. This new goddess was purposeful and fair. She listened to the request of the four gods and thought deeply about it to design the optimal plan of action. She knew she needed to act fast as the god of chaos was rampaging more and more. After a certain time, she understood what needed to be done and told the other gods. For eons, the goddess of light, the god of void, the goddess of music and time, and the goddess of order roamed the newly born universe to create the conditions that would stop the insanity of the god of chaos. By doing so, the gods were moving more and more towards the dreams of their inception. The next step was the creation of life. Thank you for staying until the end. If you enjoyed the chapter, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel to be informed about upcoming chapters. You can also purchase the Neverending Tales as either a paperback or a hardcover with the links in the description. See you next time on Inked Feather.